WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have something from Cadenheads from the distillery Dailuaine. It's a 14-year-old small batch, which means they actually combine two hogsheads together to create this whiskey. 696 bottles came out of those two hogsheads. Whiskey base number 133287. Now, this was actually distilled in 2004. It was bottled in 2019 for Cadenheads. And over here in Germany, it has a price of 44 euros 90. So a little bit more than $50 if you'd like. Now, what I have actually in my German channel, and you can also be part of it in the English channel, is I have a Patreon page. On this Patreon page, you can actually support me with as little as $1 a month, or up to, I think I have 10. I think I added another tier, $25 a month. So I'm not greedy. But what I actually do is I allow people that are part of my Patreon, I call them WhiskyJason superfans. I allow them to suggest bottles that I will actually review and therefore also share in a bottle share, which I do online with a WhatsApp bottle share group in German, unfortunately. And so this bottle was recommended by Dirk's Whisky Welt, Dirk's Whiskey World. He has a Facebook page that he reviews a lot of whiskeys on, and he suggested this. He's momentarily on the trip of ex-bourbon cask only. So some people are on a trip of sherry, some of them are on the peat, some of them are on a maybe port or maybe even a Madeira trip. He's on a ex-bourbon, and as you can look at the color here, it's a little bit like a golden yellow, a straw color. Dailuaine is not a distillery I have the opportunity to taste a lot. I did the Flora and Fauna, the 16-year-old, but it was sherry cask, also matured, and so therefore it tastes totally different than this. So what else can I say? Dailuaine is a workhorse for Diageo. A lot of the things go into the blends, maybe also then Johnny Walker and so on. In the last couple of years, Diageo has been trying to change Dailuaine to make it a little bit more like a Kleinlich type of moment. So one of the tasting notes that we might have here is a little bit of beeswax. And they want to have a nice, smoother, cleaner type of new make. So, William Cadenheads, if you don't know, they're one of the oldest, if not the oldest, independent bottler in the world, established 1842. It says here, William Cadenhead bottlings are released at either their natural cask strength or reduced to 46%, depends on the tasting panel preferred strength for each selection. So here it's 46%. Coloring is never added, nor are any other products chill filtered. Very good. Cadenhead bottlings are brought to you in their natural state and will differ from cask to cask in color, strength, and taste, offering a unique experience with every bottle. That is true. Now, I'm not a big fan of the labeling. The back, I can live with. The front, it looks like something that wanted... he tried, but he didn't. It's like a D- in my book. Oh, well. Single malt distilled at Dailuaine, bottled by William Cadenhead's Campbelltown in Scotland, aged 14 years, matured in oak. As if Scotch could be matured in anything else. Product of Scotland, small batch. Bottle size and so on. They do take a little bit more room in the bottle and the shelf space. The trend is to more thinner bottles so that they're actually they use less shelf space, which many of the distributors now actually demand. All right, good. Gave it a lot of time to mature here in the glass. It's not the most powerful of drams. Friends of mine were talking the other day, and there was a question of what type of dram do you want when you come home from work? Do you want a dram that you can take, go out on the porch and just drink and maybe relax and wind down? Or do you want a dram where you actually dig into it and you pull out all the tiny notes and you actually have to work with the dram and it's really a challenging thing? Or do you want something light and easy and just comforting? That's what this is. All right, so, yeah. So, on the nose, I have, according to the bottle here, pineapple. Nope. Gooseberries. Yep. quiet floral orange blossoms, water, and freshly soaked baked scones. All right, I've never had the tasting note quiet floral orange blossom water. Have you? But it's a very floral, very faint scent here. On freshly baked scones, I think the Scottish people just like to think of scones and whiskey a lot. I get malt, I get a tiny little bit of a sugar, I get a nice little gooseberry moment. It's a very light. I get some lemon, maybe a touch of lime in there. It's a citrus type of thing. It's not overpowering at all. It's very, very subtle and very, very I'm trying to look for the right phrase here. Reserved. Let's use the word subtle and reserved. 46% Slanche. Mm-hmm. Now there's a lot more oomph, a lot more of an alcohol bite in this than expected with 46% and 14 years. Lemon, the lime is really there. The gooseberries are there. A little bit of a lightly toasted almond, as they say on the back of the bottle here. And then they talked about cracked black pepper. When anytime you read about pepper, it's going to be a type of ginger, a type of spiciness. It's just the alcohol. It's the hotness of this. These casks were not first fill casks. We were not second fill casks. Now, I keep on mentioning that in the next, I'm going to say 20 years, we're going to have less and less hogsheads. Why? Well, in the old days, 2000, 2010, 1990s and so, what we would do is, as we know, bourbon barrels can only be used once. So they would actually disassemble the barrels, put them in a container, the staves, and then send the staves over to Scotland, Speyside Cooperage, a beautiful place to watch and to go there. And what they would do is they reassemble those staves. They would make new tops and bottoms here for them, actually from the old staves that were also sent along. And they would take out of 5 American Standard barrels, 4 hogsheads. So instead of 200 liters, 250 liters. Why? Because these were actually almost an optimal size to make a whiskey age slower, which is what we need in the Scottish environment and the climate and that surroundings. So you put a hogshead, less surface contact than in a standard American barrel, and it's exactly the right size, and they were able to still move them without having to use heavy equipment. And they were just perfect. Now today, we just put about 140, I would say, bourbon barrels into a 40-foot container, put them one layer and then another layer, and they're shipped on over here and don't even disassemble them anymore. When I was at the Speyside Cooperage last year, they were not assembling any casks per se. They were repairing old casks. And that's what they're doing more and more, is taking third, second, or even first fill bourbon casks that were not actually anymore airtight, or maybe something else was wrong with them, and actually bringing them up to par. So what is very interesting by this whiskey is, and Cadenhead's philosophy is, either 46% or cask strength. Now, I'm going to dilute this down to about 40%. Then there was a slight bitterness in here, that roasted almond moment. I'm not a big fan of sour. I'm not a big fan of bitter in my whiskey. It doesn't always have to be sweet, but it has to be fruity. It has to be citrus. It has to be a little bit of a good taste there. And there was a tiny little bit of an off-putting moment here. And I'm pretty sure that would probably be the main reasons they did not fill this up at cask strength. Now, I've diluted it down to 40%. It's creamier. It's fruitier. More of the gooseberries, more of the lime, more of the lemon, more of the malt, more of that sugar comes through. much smoother. The alcohol bite is gone. This would have been a perfect whiskey at 40 to 43%. Also, there's a little bit of a tangerine type of lemon tart moment. Very, very nice. This is between a C++ and B minus minus, to be honest, as a whiskey. With water, it's a B minus minus. Very, very nice. Value for money, it's actually a good C. If you can ever get Cadenheads, that'd be very, very good. One last thought. I enjoy putting water in my whiskey. I dilute my whiskeys often down to 25, 20, maybe only 30% sometimes. And the following happens. I don't know if you've ever learned a foreign language. I've learned a few. And recently I was learning a little bit of Italian. I wanted to go to Italy with my mom and my sister. And so my sister and I, we were learning online Italian. And so what happens is they would actually say the sentence, because the best way to learn a language is listen, repeat. Well, one of the ways to learn a language is listen, repeat. And so you'd listen and it would just be and I was like, oh no. And there was always that button that play slow. And I was like, ah, la la li la lo li la. I was like, I got it now. Okay, and then and that's what this does with water. It actually everything's compressed and actually takes it and pulls it apart and gives me time to actually discover the different flavor profiles in there. Please, 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 please play with your water. Dilute it down below 40% once or twice. Get to know a whiskey and then taste it how the producer actually wanted you to have it. And if you like it better at 43 or 40% than they had it, or 38 for all I care, put some water in there, find that sweet spot and go, enjoy it. Enjoy your whiskey however you want to. All right, WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys, one of 696 bottles worldwide from this. The 2 Bourbon Hogsheads that were mixed together here by Cadenheads. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Dirk, for giving this recommendation, even though this is something I normally wouldn't buy, to be honest. All right, please share the video if you'd be so kind, and if you ever want to contact me, whiskyjason@gmail.com, and if you have the possibility, take a look at my Patreon page. Just type in WhiskyJason, you'll find me really quick, and that'd be great. All the best. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.